I'm Stephanie Hartman, and on this episode of Aqua Planet from Brazil, I'd like you to come with me to a place I'm willing to bet you've never heard of. For example, we're in the city of Recife, which means reefs, and that means wreck diving.
You have dreamed about exploring another planet. It's closer than you think, just beneath the water's surface. Soar weightless through the atmosphere and encounter a host of incredible creatures. It's all in a world waiting for you. The Aqua Planet.
Hi, Aqua Planet!
This time on Aqua Planet, we're going back 500 years to the colonial roots of this great country of Brazil. In Porto Seguro, we'll look at the colorful history of the Portuguese who settled here. Dive with me in Abrolhos and look for the mushroom coral formations that once spelled doom for the early European mariners. And then we're going north to the tropical port of Recife. This modern capital city sits beside the old colonial town of Olinda, a place of ancient buildings and an astonishing array of churches and cathedrals. The coast of Recife is a graveyard of ships, and Aqua Planet creator Timothy Dean is going to take you diving on some of the shipwrecks.
The wrecks of Recife have become artificial reefs, ablaze with brilliant fish. Few in the rest of the world know about this place, a locale destined to become renowned amongst scuba divers as more and more people see the sights we're going to show you. In one of the wrecks, you'll enjoy a special encounter with a giant creature of the deep.
And there's more to Recife than ancient monuments. There are a lot of ways to have fun on the beaches and enjoy life in this gracious coastal city. First, getting there. Aqua Planet flew into the famous city of Rio de Janeiro, and then up the coast to Porto Seguro. This is near our dive site of Abrolhos. From there, we're going north to Recife and its treasure of sunken ships. As an alternative these days, you can take a direct flight from North America to Recife. First, we took the opportunity to talk to our friend from the Brazilian Embassy in Washington.
Aloysio, as a brief overview, what kinds of diving is there to offer in Brazil?
You can dive all the way from wrecks, you can dive pelagics, you can dive encrusted corals. We don't have many coral reefs in Brazil because the development is mostly volcanic. So it's another type of flora and fauna you're going to find, but all marvelous.
I can't wait. So let's go find out for ourselves. In the Brazilian state of Bahia, we make our first stop. We've just landed here in Porto Seguro and we're on our way to Abrolhos for some great diving. But this place is famous because this is where the Portuguese landed about 500 years ago, and they named it Porto Seguro, meaning safe harbor. In 1526, the Portuguese erected this stone marker they had brought from the old country. In that year, they built their first church. In fact, the Portuguese name for their dominion in the New World was Vera Cruz, the true cross. But the first important item of export was the red dyewood, known as Brazil, and that's the name that stuck. Within 10 years, the Portuguese added another church on what would become Porto Seguro's main square. Right across from this church, here's the other essential building for any good colonizer, the prison. This church was constructed for the African slaves brought in to work the aristocrats' plantations. Curio shops line the square, filled with weaving and handicrafts. These are mostly for Brazilian and other South American visitors. You still see few international travelers here. One of the sights I've come to enjoy in Brazil is something these guys are performing. It's called capoeira, created by slaves who were forbidden to fight. So they invented a form of dance that is really a robust martial art. These athletes are standing on the site where those Portuguese first came ashore all those centuries ago. Their performance seems like a celebration of freedom. the throb of the drums, and the rhythm of the stringed instrument called a berimbau sound like the very voice of Brazil. Coming up next, a dive into history.